Hi, everyone. My name is Henry Lee. I'm the head of global business at Icon. And I would first just like to express my appreciation for the host of this event for organizing such a wonderful event and allowing us to talk a little bit about what Icon is doing. So thank you for that. So today I'm just going to talk about a few things, where we're coming from, why are we focusing on interoperability, and what is Icon, and how we think the industry is going to move in the future. So just a little bit about where we come from. So I first entered this industry in 2016, and that's when I first met the founders of the Icon. So on June of 2016, we've established a company called The Loop. And The Loop was aiming to provide private blockchain solutions to enterprises in Korea. So we've managed to be the sole technology provider for 4 of the largest blockchain consortiums in Korea. And just by running these businesses, we understood that there will be a need for these private blockchains to communicate with each other. So that's how we got the idea that we need to focus on interoperability. So just to share some of the work that we have done with these enterprises in Korea. Chain ID is essentially a blockchain identity or blockchain authentication service allowing Korean citizens to conduct any types of financial transactions. So in Korea, in order to do online banking, you would need to sign in and go through a cumbersome process of authenticating yourself through a certificate which is issued by a centralized CA or certificate authority. So what Chain ID offers to Korean citizens is a very hassle-free, easy way of authenticating yourself and allowing you to be engaged in financial transactions. And it also provided evidence, it proved that these group of securities companies can come together to form a consensus about someone's identity or someone's data and without relying on centralized intermediaries. Next is automated insurance claiming service. So a group of insurance companies, medical IT companies, healthcare providers, hospitals, and medical centers came together to find a way to use smart contract to automate the insurance claiming process. So this was a government-run initiative with government grant, and we've completed the pilot testings of this service as of last year. And this year is more about gaining more industry participants into the consortium so that this service could be provided to a larger populations in Korea. Last but not least, Ucoin is actually a digital currency used by students in universities in Korea. Now, Ucoin right now is pegged to a Korean fiat, and it allows students to buy goods, books, and buy things in and around university campus. But the broader picture is what they're trying to do is build a blockchain-based campus where students can use digital currencies to pay for tuitions, receive scholarships, and even authenticate his credentials on about certain credits that he took during the exchange program so that these can be all realized in the future. So running these private businesses, we definitely understands the benefit that private blockchain technology can provide. But I think the industry as a whole is pretty much divided. So I think this is kind of what's happening. So obviously 2017 was an year of a public blockchain for the lack of better world. And Icon actually did an ICO last year. We did an ICO in September of 2017. So last year, the focus was more on the public side and less on the private side. Those who are on the public side often make claims about private blockchain that it is not a blockchain, it is centralized, at best distributed, and that they're not adding any values or innovations to the table. However, on the other side, those in the private blockchains or those who are not fully comprehending or agree with the philosophy of a public blockchain often says, you're too slow, you're not scalable, and you have no standards whatsoever for real-life applications. So will this continue? At Icon, I think the wall between these two will fall. And I think we're already on the road to convergence. And we're seeing more and more people understanding and embracing the possibility of these two technology working together. So I think everyone is looking for the next platform, the next protocol to change it all, the next killer application for blockchain. But it's very hard to find one these days. And at some point, someone is going to come up with a product and it will make all the sense for everyone. But it's hard to realize it until you actually see the product. And what we see, or what we believe, is that we'll be able to get closer and closer to everyday lives of people when we could connect real world into all the innovation that crypto world can provide. So this is actually an excerpt from a writing that one of our supporters at Speculative Rationality did. It reads, as blockchain technologies mature and gain widespread adoption, a critical requirement will be the ability of various chains to communicate with each other to allow greater integration, utility, and real-world applications. So this does a great job of summing up what kind of basic underlying philosophy we have at Icon. And I think by discovering ways of how these blockchains can communicate will add a lot of value to the larger ecosystem. So Icon aims to build Icon essentially is a smart contract platform with interoperability built in from scratch. So Icon aims to build a global standards for interoperability. So basically what Icon is trying to do is facilitate certain innovations coming in from the public side, whether it be an application, whether it be a protocol, to allow that to be used beyond its siloed network. And I think rather than imagining a world where everyone and everything is built on top of a single blockchain network, I think even consolidation in mind, I think there will be multiple blockchains with multiple value propositions that could add value to the ecosystem. So in coming few months, we'll be very aggressive in releasing our code bases to the developer communities for them to play around and to be engaged and contribute to building Icon. But I just wanted to take a few moments to just highlight how we are actually structuring all this. So the basic consensus structure that constitutes a blockchain is shared. And each product develops products or additions or versions of a loop chain, develops a customized feature under this base layer of consensus. And we allow unique customizing and added functionalities while maintaining the same consensus models. And our smart contract platform will support Score, EVM, JVM, and other types of virtual machines to allow different developers to be engaged in our ecosystem. So on the right side of the slide, it kind of highlights some of the features that we provide on Icon mainnet. And as I said before, we'll be releasing a lot of code bases, and the developers will be able to see what we have built so far. But just to highlight some of the key strengths that Icon provides as a smart contract platform, Score, which is short for Smart Contract on Reliable Environment, is a smart contract development environment which allows developer to easily and intuitively develop their decentralized applications. As I mentioned before, we'll be embracing EVM technologies in order to enable developers with Solidity-based dApps to deploy and execute their applications on Icon. So our consensus model is a variation of PBFT consensus model, and we use 2.5 steps BFT consensus model that ensures one confirmation finality. And right now, our transaction speed throughput is around 1,000 TPS. But obviously, we're in a brainstorming stage and planning stage to introduce a new type of consensus model where it could dramatically increase the transaction per speed for Icon network. And another interesting feature is that we can provide flexible fee structures by adjusting the ratio between the service provider and the users. This could ensure different types of decentralized application to be built on top of Icon. I think the fee is a high fee is one of the problems that we face in the existing smart contract platform. So this could be an interesting opportunity for dApp developers to try on new things, innovative things on Icon. Lastly, our platform is designed with interoperability in mind through BTP or blockchain transmission protocol. We're working with other interoperability projects like Aeon and OneChain to develop this protocol. And we hope that this protocol will become the base layer of any type of communication that is happening between chains. So whether it will be an asset exchange between chain to chain, or whether it will be a simple exchange of consensus between chain to chain, what we're developing hopefully will become the base layer of all those types of communications. So our mainnet was launched in January 2018, and now there are about 7 dApp projects that are working to build on top of Icon. And these 3 projects on the slide are actually here with us at TOKEN2049, and they'll be here in Hong Kong throughout this week. So if you haven't had a chance to talk to them, I highly recommend you try to find them. I'm sure they will reach out to you. But each project provides a unique value add to this industry, a one-of-a-kind decentralized application that could be closer to everyday lives of everyone in this room. And we're actually in the middle of APAC tour. We're bringing our dApp projects along to different cities around APAC region, from Sydney, now Hong Kong, next Singapore, Shanghai, Hangzhou, and to Tokyo and back to Seoul. So we're doing to the best of our ability to ensure that these projects become successful to the best of their ability. And I think expanding the developer ecosystem and community building is definitely one of the top priorities that we have at Icon at this time. So I think this diagram kind of sums up what we have been doing since the days of the enterprise and now with the Icon Foundation. We're obviously continuing to work with enterprises to expand the scope of the businesses and also different types of industry that we could work with. And I think 2018 will be a very interesting year, specifically in Korea, because we are seeing ever more interest from all market participants, from government, from public sectors, from enterprises, from IT giants and unicorns to blockchain developers, and even to the public in general. They're trying to more understand what blockchain technology can provide and less focus on cryptocurrency, so to speak. So Icon also has a very ambitious roadmap for this year. The things that are on the slide are only few of the milestones that we have set for this year. And I think as we open up more sources to the open source developer communities, I think we'll be able to achieve a lot more than what we have on this slide. So I think, generally speaking, our industry as a whole is at a very early stage, and there's definitely room for a lot of cooperations. And I think it's the type of mentality that allows an industry-driven initiative like Blockchain Interoperability Alliance to happen. So we're working with Aeon and OneChain to develop this protocol, and we're definitely not competing for market share at this point. We're competing for market growth, and I think having these types of industry-driven initiatives, I think those will be one of the key factors that actually make change and add value to this industry. So I've given a brief overview about where we come from, what Icon is, why we're focusing on the issue of interoperability, and what kind of things we have planned for the future. So if you share the vision, if you understand what we're trying to do, and if you think you can participate or contribute to building this larger ecosystem, please reach out to us, and we'll definitely find a way to work together. And I think when we start to see more people who share this vision, who realize what we can do and the potential that this industry has, we'll be able to get closer and closer to a truly hyper-connected and decentralized society. Thank you.